Okay, so in this video we're looking at one specific problem itself that stands on its own name right here, and this is also one of the topic being discussed in section 3.2 again. Now this problem here, we're concerned about finding how to find a mean value but from a class frequency distribution. And so the idea is like this. Suppose I give you, now you don't even have to worry about the data set that I have on the sheet for you, but here let's imagine that we have a class frequency distribution, and say I have a class from 0 to 4 and with frequency, and here I have a frequency 2, and I have a 5 to 9, and I have a frequency 4, and there's my from 10 to 14, and I have a frequency 3, and then there's 15 to 19, and I have a frequency 1, for example. Okay, so this is my class frequency distribution. So out of nowhere, I mean, a lot of time all you are given with is just simply a class frequency distribution, just similar to the one we're having now. Now you are being asked, and I am being asked, to find the mean value. Now, so as soon as the question is being asked here, one potential problem here is that we all know how to find the mean value actually. But here in this case, the problem that's making it hard for us is that we do not know the individual data values. All we know is just simply the classes and the number of members in each classes. But we really do not know how many members there are. I mean, we do not know which members is which in each data set. Or in other words, once again, we don't know the individual data values. So here, the way to find the mean value, you need to find the midpoint for each class. So for the first class from 0 to 4, the midpoint here, the midpoint is equals to 4 plus 0 and divided by 2, and that gives me 2. The next class from 5 to 9, the midpoint would be 9 plus 5 divided by 2, and that would give me 7. So if you're not sure what I'm doing here to find the midpoint, make sure you review my other videos on how to find the midpoints of each class. But here we're doing 14 plus 10 for my next class, and find the midpoint. I mean, for my class from 10 to 14, we're doing midpoint equals 14 plus 10, and we divide by 2, and that gives me 12. And my last midpoint here for the class from 15 to 19, that gives me the midpoint equals 19 plus 15 divided by 2, and that gives me 17. So now I'm gonna utilize these midpoints right here and multiply each midpoint with the frequency, and then I'm gonna divide by the total to find my mean value. And notice my total, even though I do not know the individual data points, but I can just simply add up all the frequencies here, and that gives me my total. So my total equals 2 plus 4 plus 3 plus 1, and that would be equals to 10. So now my mean value this time now is going to be, my first midpoint is a 2, and I multiply with the corresponding 2 is the midpoint for my first class from 0 to 2. So that class has frequency 2, so I'm going to multiply that midpoint with frequency 2, and then I'm going to add that to 7 is my next midpoint, and I'm going to multiply 7 for its frequency 4, and then I'm going to add to 12 times 3, and I'm going to add with 17 times 1, and here I'm going to divide by the total of 10. So that gets me a number here. It's going to be 4 plus 28 plus 36 plus 17, and all divided by 10. So my answer in this case would be, give me a few quick minutes here to do the calculation. Alright, so according to my calculation, the answer would be 8.5. And so that is how we can find, and that is my mean value that I can compute, that I can calculate out from that class frequency distribution. And this is one of the standard way how you can just simply find a mean value from a class frequency distribution.